I am your host, Glen Alex, and this is the Glen Alex Show, the 2023 Positive Change Podcast Award winner. Each episode of the Glen Alex Show focuses on a different aspect of health because you are whole, all of you matter. And I'm on a mission to help you be joyful, connected, confident, and complete the life experience I call Wellth, Wellth, which is health plus other riches. So please subscribe now. Turn on your notifications so you do not miss an episode of The Glen Alex Show. Drop a like and a comment. And stay tuned for this very impactful episode, which is a replay of my interview with Melissa Crook on the F.E.E.L podcast.
Where your health matters, set your mind, let it flow. Joyful, connected, confident, complete. Let Glen Alex help you back on your feet. The Glen Alex
Hello, Melissa Crook here with the F.E.E.L podcast. Welcome to today's episode, Embracing Real Health, Living in Total Wellness with Glen Alex. Our ways to engage with today's episode are as follows. Be aware of saying you should do something and change it to could. Think of things as you are capable and can do them rather than twisting reality to what you, quote, should be doing, but aren't. See how this changes your motivation and perception of yourself as you make this simple shift in language. We hope you find this supportive and helps you think as you're listening today and engaging with our episode with our friend Glen Alex. Thanks so much for being with us. Hello, F.E.E.L podcast audience. Glad to be with you here today. I've got a friend here with me that if you've been following us at all, she's been on a panel with me a couple of months ago, and I've also gotten to be a guest on her podcast. And now it's my turn to bring her to the F.E.E.L podcast. And Glen and I connected via our good friends at Podmatch. But I'm happy to have Glen Alex here with me today. She's going to have a ton of wisdom and insight, and that really goes into how she describes herself. She describes herself as intuitive, insightful, creative, visionary, where she sees the big picture, but she also sees the small parts that feed into what make that big picture, which I love that delineation she made within that. Integrity and joyful. Glen Alex, welcome to the F.E.E.L podcast.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Me too. And you have so much to say about these talking points, and you know so much about all of these things already. And we'll talk about, you really do. I mean, you've got a lot of insights on that, as you know, and it comes both professionally and just from life experience. And
yes.
And we'll talk about at the end where people can find you and follow you, and they'll understand what I'm talking about. Go back and check out the great panel. Check out Glen and I's conversation that we had on the Glen Alex Show a few months back. But let's get started with how to prioritize self-care in your life, and what has your journey been with that?
I think how to is not as important to me. Because these days you can Google anything, how to do X, Y, Z. What I find with clients and people I know personally is they know how, they don't have a why.
Oh,
So I would recommend starting with the why.
Yeah.
Why to? Why take care of yourself? Why be as healthy as you can? Why have these wonderful people around you versus negative people? It's the why. And once you crystallize your why, then the how to follows, and the commitment to the how to.
Yeah, connecting that why behind it, because the why is like, oh, well, why? Well, I want to be the healthiest version of myself. I want to have a filled cup and show up well for my people. That is a very clarifying way to approach that. I love that. When did you realize that's where the power was for you?
Oh boy, it was early in my journey. I would say, um, growing up, I could see a lot of people stumbling. I'm blessed to be the youngest of 10. So I
Oh,
had a
wow.
lot of, yes. So I had a lot of examples, and my mother came from a huge family as well.
Okay.
We had a very full social life in the neighborhood. So
Wow.
I learned from watching people that they knew how, they
Mm.
just didn't.
Mm.
And so I picked up along the way that, there's more to it than just knowledge is
Yeah.
not power for me. Knowledge is potential. It's the
Ooh.
application of that knowledge that's power.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were because you are such an intuitive, this really goes with the intuitive, insightful, and visionary piece in you. You recognized those things from an early age. You're like, there's some parts here that are missing in getting the application done. And what is it that needs to be tapped into? Because I talk a lot about on here, and we'll get into why and values later, and embracing your layers, because we prioritize what we value. We prioritize what we understand the why behind. It becomes a value and a priority of ours because we've defined that and we understand it, and it's connected to us and not what other people are saying we should do, but to what is important and valuable to us. So I love that
Yes.
connection. And
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. And you learned, I mean, you have plenty of people around you to learn from. That's really, I love that so much. What are activities that really support you in this?
In my self-care,
Yeah.
I love my downtime.
Mm.
I am a busy girl, and I even schedule downtime just to sit and chill if I want to read, or if I want to write, or if I just want to look out the window,
Yeah.
or take a nap. That's very nurturing for me.
Mm.
And as an introvert, I do need that to reset my batteries, actually.
Right.
So downtime is really important to me. Nourishment,
Mm.
food, nourishment from authentic people, just that energy and support, and being surrounded by that emotional comforter is a huge part of my self-care. I am intolerant of Debbie Downers and negative Nancy's, and because they know how to, they just don't do it. So
they don't make the choice within it to shift what's happening
absolutely.
there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I also believe that self-care not only promotes living in total health, which is the balancing between the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of who we are.
Yeah.
I think self-care also communicates your worth to other people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So as part of the why, what do you want to communicate to other people about yourself?
Yeah. And it informs them of how to treat you and what you will and won't tolerate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that emotional blanket metaphor. I think that's really powerful. That's so good. Oh, good stuff there. All right. And you mentioned this already. You prioritize and put in your schedule your downtime. You know that's important to you. That is a healthy boundary that you have created for yourself in your schedule. Talk to me about your boundaries journey and learning to set aside those times for yourself, and in other areas of your life, how you learned to apply these things.
Well, I didn't understand the word boundaries, though. Again, growing up and in our social settings, I could see, I was so captivated by how people interacted with each other. I would just sit and watch, and you can see the smiles, or you can see the eyebrows raised, or you can see the cringe. You could see the pained look on someone's face. And that communicated to me that there were lines to cross and lines not to cross. And so as I grew and learned and became more educated and trained, I'll go back and say, as the youngest of 10, I was a very quiet and shy child. And I didn't really speak up for myself growing up until something happened when I turned 15. I started using the word no. And it was so foreign to my family that my oldest sister started calling me Space Baby because she thought I was abducted and who are you?
Who's taking over your brain? Where did you learn this from? Oh my gosh. Wow.
And so that no was specific to babysitting because as the youngest of 10, there were a lot of nieces and nephews to take care of. And so that's where I started my own personal journey with setting boundaries. And then it just evolved to the more subtle boundaries of interaction of how you can talk to me, how you can touch me. You're too close in my space. And so it just kind of gradually grew from there.
Yeah. I think, and I say this because I've got some in my family, but I really think that people who are born with that intuition and many times in my experience are more introverted, you have a really innate instinct of what is too much for you and when to say no. More so, I think, myself as an extrovert, it took me years to realize I'm an extrovert. So I'm out with everybody all the time doing all the things. And I had to realize, like, even I need to have some lines in the sand. And I'm very aware of that now, but for many years. And I would tell you that the intuitives and empaths and introverts in my life have a very strong awareness. Because you're taking in so much, you're so picking up on so many things that are going on in the room and taking in other people's experiences. You don't have to be the loudest voice. You're taking in everything around you. And I think there's so much power. It's a little bit of a superpower, I think, that sometimes those of us that are a little more vocal and just miss out on because we're always the ones doing the engaging and talking and not the sitting back and taking in. I think that's a gift in a lot of ways.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And that brought up memories of the times when my intuition and my observations were like, okay, I don't want to go there. I don't want that person around me. I don't want to do that. And I was criticized for either being too sensitive or too judgmental. I'm like, okay, if you think that, it's not safe for me to go there. And if you want to, okay, it's not safe for me emotionally or mentally, and I'm not doing it.
Yeah. I think that's that awareness of yourself. It's like, all right, well, that's your decision. But for me, you will not deter me. I'm going to trust that and listen to that. And I think that's such a powerful thing and empowering thing too for you.
And I really wish more humans were connected with themselves in that way. I think the world would be in a much better place if we had that healthier connection with ourselves.
Yeah. And I think we need to change the narrative around what being sensitive means. Sensitive is a strength. Sensitive is knowing and feeling and trusting and listening to. And I think that's such I call it a superpower. And so it's like, let's be very mindful of how we communicate with those in our lives about that. And just because it's if it feels uncomfortable for you or off-putting to you, ask yourself why. Get curious about yourself about that, because that's more of an issue that's going on inside of you than it is with that other person and that knows what their lines in the sand are. I love that and senses that and trusts that. So good. All right. You mentioned this earlier also when it comes to self-care, and it's tending to all these pieces and parts of us, but taking care of our emotional health, mental health, physical health, spiritual health. It's all a part of this package. Talk to me about your awareness and journey with that.
Well, as far as emotional health and wellness, I think it's crucial to understand that emotions are natural to the human condition.
Yeah.
I have clients who condemn themselves for feeling,
Yeah.
for getting angry or sad or afraid. That's natural. It's unpacking the layers of the emotion that will walk you to your spot of empowerment. And so I work on emotional intelligence with my clients and explain to them that the emotions and the intellect are partners. One is not more valuable than the other. They must work together for us to unpack those layers and to make the best choices available to us to enhance our life experience. So, along my journey, there was a lot of anger. I was angry a lot. I didn't understand how people could hurt each other. I struggled with making sense of pain and suffering. And until I, probably early 20s, went away to college. Then I started to see individual choices and responsibilities or lack of responsibilities and how they just managed themselves when they were distressed or stressed or even happy. And so that just gave me more information about emotions and mindset and how that leads to choices.
Yeah. Do you think that understanding, did that lead you down the road you chose professionally?
Yeah, it did. It did, because I wanted to help other people understand themselves better in that way and their internal experiences, what to make of it, reflecting on it, choices, changes, etc. So that actually did lead me to where I am, my line of work, because I really love numbers. And I actually first went to school for accounting, for business. And it was too isolating. And I said, no, there's something else I need to do. So then that led me into social work.
Okay. I love how you recognize that too. It's like, okay, no, there's more here, because sometimes it's real easy, especially, when you're in college and you're like, oh, this is a route that I could go and make a good living and all those things, and not get kind of drawn into that and ignore that intuition of like, no, I think there's something more for me that's more aligned. But I think that goes back to that trusting yourself piece, that trusting that insight and that intuition.
I agree with that. And let me say that I am completely blessed to have the level of self-awareness I do. It takes a lot of energy to stay aware and self-conscious of what I'm doing, thinking, feeling, and saying at any given moment. Yet it is an absolute blessing for me, because I know where I exist in space. And I believe other humans have this ability too. We just ignore it, we override it, or we just assume other people know better than we do for ourselves.
Yeah. I think I'm so glad you pointed out that feeling blessed and grateful piece. But you made a choice for that too, which I think is really powerful. That you're helping other people see their choice in it, I think is for that. And that is so, when you realize you've got more within you than you previously acknowledged, that's very empowering.
Oh, it's so empowering.
Yeah.
And comforting.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And that goes beautifully into how we support ourselves and other women in living unapologetically. This is a gateway to that ability to embrace that and see that within ourselves, and then help and support other people in doing that. That's the whole framework of what you do. Is that, have you viewed it that way? Or is that like, oh, I guess that is?
I don't know if I viewed it exactly that way. That's a new framework for me.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I suppose, just thinking about it now, that being self-aware self-conscious, taking responsibility and accountability for my choices makes it easier to support other women.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because I think that you are operating, you've got that foundation. So you're operating from a very confident, foundational, assured place. And so that allows you to, but you also know it takes work and time and energy. So it creates an empathy for others and their ability to do that because you understand it yourself.
Yes, yes. And when we are empowered in that way,
Yeah.
then we don't need or even want to compare ourselves to others.
Yeah.
I think that is a huge fault line that we women in particular engage in. And
Yes.
oh, she's prettier, she has better hair, she has more money, she's skinnier. I don't care.
Yes. Yes. And there's there is so much power in that. Do you think, you have your show, the Glen Alex Show as well. Do you think this played a role in you wanting to share on a broader scope? Because you obviously have your people that you work with one-on-one, but you're also able to share this knowledge in such a more expansive form on your podcast. So talk to me about that impact too, of being able to show up in this way for so many more women.
It absolutely led to the development of the Glen Alex Show, which I resisted for like a year. I was a guest on another show, and that host, he hounded me for like a year. You should have your own show. You should have your own show. And then as I'm, writing blogs and I said, yeah, I really wish that we would teach boundaries and emotional intelligence in grade school.
Yes.
In grade school. And so in thinking about that, I said, yeah, I could share this information with the wider audience. And this is a great way to do that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's what led to the Glen Alex Show.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's such an important thing. If we could empower our kiddos in the world to know how to navigate their emotions and express them in a healthy way. There's so many generations of discipline and punishment that really shuts down the emotional processing for kids because that's just what we've seen happen. So there's not the curiosity of and sitting in the discomfort of all right, you're throwing a fit right now. What's happening here? You're acting out. What's happening here? What can we do to settle and breathe? We're just go to your room or you're grounded or, that's what we've seen for years. And it doesn't open the door.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of clients who were told and bought into, you shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Don't be angry.
Yeah.
And so now they stuff their emotions and they come out in these other ways, as you say, acting out.
Yeah. And it's so disempowering when someone tells you that what you're feeling they're not affirming that. It's not justified. And so then there can be shame that goes with that as well.
Absolutely.
There's so many layers that pile on top of if we just were able to, one, it has to start with the adults in the room knowing how to process and move through their own emotions so that they've got the capacity and space to help these kids do it. But it'd be a game changer if we could do that. 1,000%.
Oh, absolutely.
Game changer. And change the trajectory for those kids moving forward into adulthood. What a gift that would be. Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think other ways we can support ourselves and other women unapologetically is to adopt the relationship and become your own best friend.
Yeah.
If you're having, I have a client who's she's so self-loathing. For any normal experience, she just beats herself up. And I'm like, well, what would you say to your best friend if she was going through the same thing? Oh, it'll be okay. It'll get better. You can handle this. I'm like, then be your own best friend.
Yeah.
Use your self-talk to work through and process through your distressing experiences, even the positive experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to feel the joy.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I think another thing that would be really huge in supporting ourselves and other women unapologetically is if we do talk less and listen more. Sometimes we just listen to fill in our own blanks, or we listen to respond. We don't really hear where the person is coming from. I had a client who was just all over the place. She was just having just difficulty with her adult children. She couldn't see her grandchildren. She was having problems on the job with her partner. And all I did was listen and ask, a poignant question here and there. And it helped her to reflect and calm. And so she sent me a message later and she said, "Thank you for your supportive presence." And so sometimes that's all it takes is an ear, and people can get to the point where they can work out their own stuff.
Yeah. And when they can figure out, going back to figuring out that they have it within them.
Yes.
To do that.
Yes.
That's where the magic really is.
That is so magical. I love that word. Yes, it is so magical.
Yeah.
And they get this aha.
Yeah. Yeah, that aha moment. So good. Well, I think another thing too, we quit apologizing for showing up and taking up space in a room and being seen, being heard, being known. That's part of that. Is I mentor and advise a group of women at Fresno State University, and in the College of Business, a group of students. And one of the things I tell them, I'm like, right out the gate, let's get rid of any habits you have about entering a room and starting a sentence with "I'm sorry, but." No, you're just going to get rid of that part of the sentence and just start with, "Professor, I have a question," or going into your boss, I need some clarity. Not, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I need some clarity." "Oh, I'm sorry to take up your time." No, they're there for you to take up their time.
That's their purpose.
Exactly. So I think that's such a big piece of it. And you have such a great handle on that. And I think it seems like you've had a handle on that for much of your life, because I think when you're that self-aware, you don't need to apologize for that.
I was unapologetic for, a good part of my adulthood. And then I learned as I became more public to soften it. So I don't walk into a room and say, "I'm sorry." I will say, "Excuse me," or "I need," or "May I," etc. So I've learned to soften it, though I'm not apologetic at all for being who I am.
Yeah. Well,
not at all.
Clear and kind can go together. Like unapologetic and kind can go together. I think sometimes when people hear the word unapologetic, it sounds very
brutal.
Very out there and verbose. Exactly. Walking into the room, like you're going to walk through a wall and take it down.
Right.
And it's like, it doesn't know. It's being comfortable and content in your own skin, having peace with who you are, walking into a room confidently, but kindly. You don't have to run through a door and knock everybody down, but you walk and, I love the examples. You're like, "Excuse me, can I have a moment of your time? Pardon me, I've got a question real quick." Those kinds of things. That's a great example. Thanks so much for sharing that. That was really good because I think we have to I think sometimes the word boundaries and unapologetic feel very in your face, and they don't have to be. There's a way to do this. And I think that when you really feel empowered in who you are, you do understand or become to understand how to navigate that in a way that is not abrasive, that it is. And I think when you're first learning how to show up that way, sometimes we err on the other side too far. Like, by golly, I'm not going to apologize for anything anymore. It's like, all right. We also need to be able to have conversations with people and work through conflict. And, so I think that, that way to do it in a very calming, doesn't have to be abrasive, doesn't have to be aggressive. You can be an assertive and kind and polite all in the same moment. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so good. All right. We touched on this already and you hit on it so well on the self-care piece, but the importance of setting and coming back to your why and your values and everything you do. Talk to me more about, you have a really great understanding of that, and you caught on to that early. Talk to me about that journey with that and how you help other people with that as well.
Well, a lot of clients who are depressed, they a common symptom is they're not motivated. They are unmotivated to even get up and shower or go to work that day or eat the right foods for them. And the assumption is that motivation means I have to have energy and excitement to do this task every time.
Oh, yeah.
No. Motivation is the result you seek.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to keep food on my table and a roof over my head, then I have to wake up and go to work. I really don't want to. I like to sleep in and
go win lottery.
And I go play tennis all day. That's what I want to do. Though, in order to have that security in my lifestyle, I am required to get up even on the days where I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
So motivation is the result. It's not the energy and excitement to do that particular task. The motivation is how this task will lead me there. And so that's what I also work with clients on that. And that's how I keep myself on task.
Yeah. I love that. That's great. I love the way you shifted that of like, no, I don't know anybody. Well, there's a few people. There's a few morning people out there, but there's a lot of people that don't want to get up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning, but they also understand that in order to meet this expectation they have for their life or this value that they have or their why behind wanting to travel or those things that nourish them, playing tennis, having, being able to have time or a membership or a place where you can go do that. They got, and they understand, okay, I've identified my why for this. I've identified the values, the things that I cherish around it. So in order to access those, this piece here is necessary, even on the days where I don't want to do it. Doesn't mean I don't love doing it. But maybe I don't want to get up at 5:30, but I know if I don't, it sets a trajectory for the rest of my day that's going to throw everything off.
Yes. And even those tasks that are mundane and boring, they are required to meet your goal, to get you what you desire. I mean, it's getting better now, though I've had a lot of GI issues and I've had a strict diet for years. And I would have to be very careful about what I ate and ask when I ate out what's exactly in it. I take forever in the grocery stores because I read every label if it's a new product for me. And so to be motivated to do those things that are time consuming and uninteresting. I'm motivated by, I don't want to suffer physically by just buying what's easiest and what's most convenient.
Right.
So taking those steps to read the labels and ask questions enables me to, minimize my GI distress. Yeah. So I'm motivated by the result of not suffering because the suffering is awful.
Yes, absolutely. And miserable. You value your health and how you want to feel. So I love that shift of the result piece. That's a really great way to look at that. Thank you so much for that. That's really good. All right. Living out of your own expectations versus others. I want to go back to an example you gave earlier. You talked about at 15, where you started saying no. There was an expectation by the older siblings. She's old enough now to babysit the kids. Of course she'll do it. And you were like, no. Let me be very clear. I am not openly open season on my calendar all the time. I have an expectation of experiences I want to have in my life that exist outside of babysitting y'all's children. So I think that's a great example of you communicated early on an expectation and a boundary, and those things, really our values, our why, our expectations, our boundaries, our self-care, they're all intertwined and they all inform each other. You talked about, already how the why and the self-care were connected and they're all intertwined. Talk to me about other areas in your life where this has really been important for you. And also how you help other people with this, because there's so many people that need help, that go to therapy, that need that support, so many times are living out of everyone else's expectations but their own. And they don't even realize it. They haven't even stopped to consider, you're on this path. Is this a path you chose? Is this the path someone else expected of you? Are you people pleasing? I mean, there's so many things that go into it.
Yes, there are so many pieces. Let me start by saying, beware of should. Should statements are a cognitive distortion, an absolute twist of reality. Should statements, I consider them the internalized expectations and standards of other people. And the problem with that is their standards and expectations may not align with who you are as an individual, your goals, your desires, your talents, your innate gifts and talents. And so if there is that misalignment and you shoot yourself to death, you will likely experience a lot of anxiety and depression. Maybe some addictive behaviors, maybe some self-harm. So beware of should. And the reframe I work with clients on is when you catch yourself shoulding on yourself, replace the word should with could. I should go to school. I could go to school. One is this and one is this. And with should statements, there are no choices. Either you're this way or something's wrong with you. Okay? Could is, look at all these different options and possibilities. That's the empowering part. So that's how I work with clients on that. For myself, it was being willing to weather the storms of criticisms for not being who I was told to be. For not being the way you should be. Why are you so, okay, I'm sorry. You don't like it. I'm doing it. And I'm going to continue to be this way because this is who I'm comfortable with when I'm alone. When I look in the mirror. That's more important to me than what you think. And so it's adopting that posture of understanding, and again, self-awareness. And it will take some time and some reflection to do this. And it's about understanding what enhances your life, what moves you closer to those goals and desires, and the expression of your gifts and talents. And should statements don't do that. They don't do that.
They don't. I love how you just shift a couple of letters in a word, and it goes from being you feel stuck and imprisoned by to a world full of choices. And that slight shift, what does that does? And also the acknowledgement of so many times when people talk to me about, this framework that I use, walking through these questions with people individually, and they want that magic elixir. And it's like, I'm going to tell you right up front, this is not the magic elixir. You're going to have to be a very committed participant in this. It's going to require you to embrace some discomfort that you might receive from people as you start making shifts that are healthy for you, because they're not used to you showing up in that way, A, and B, it may not serve them anymore. and it may not meet them where they're used to you meeting them. So for yourself and for your, making a commitment to yourself up front, you're no longer going to abandon yourself, but it's not going to come with this, like, I'm going to do this and everything's going to be better. Because it's, that's not, if someone's telling you that, they're lying to you. I'm just, because that's how life works. You have to be an accountable participant, but little shifts like changing shoulds to coulds is a wide open door that you can walk through and have a completely different perspective on your situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they experience the difference immediately sometimes.
Yeah. Because it's like that light bulb moment, like you said, like a light goes on. Like, oh, I never thought about it that way. I didn't realize that was available to me. No one's ever framed it. And I think especially when you grow up in situations where that's not modeled to you, not everybody has we're all wired differently. And not all of us are able to pick up on the fact that is not serving them. And and instead it's like, well, that's the way they did it. So I guess that's the way I'll do it. And not stopping to consider, but is that healthy? Do they look content? Do they seem happy? Or do they, those kinds of things. So the questions to ask yourself, because I remember what used to drive me crazy as a little kid is when you get answers from your parents, because I said so. Okay. And I caught myself early on in parenthood doing that to my own kids. I'm like, oh God, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that, instead of like the consideration of, impact and all those things. So yeah, I love the should to could. And I love that, just that reality of being willing to embrace the discomfort, but knowing that honoring yourself at the end, it's worth it. And you are worth it. I think that's.
And I can't imagine struggling with who I am on a daily basis. I just having this internal experience and it not aligning with what I present as. I just, that struggle to me, I said, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I'd rather you be upset with me than me be upset with myself.
Absolutely. And feel that. Exactly. Because absolutely. And I think that's so much of why you and I do what we do. And it's like, okay, ladies, this doesn't have to be this way. People, you don't have to exist this way. Listen to us. We promise you, there's a way you can exist and honor yourself. Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, so good. All right. Accepting the layered aspects of ourselves, and you mentioned layers earlier, accepting all those pieces and parts of who we are. And this is an area that I struggled with early on. I really had to move from a place of judgment to curiosity about my layers, especially in those seasons of life that I'm like, stayed in that relationship way too long, or whatever the case may be. So talk to me about your layers journey.
Oh, I'm pretty deep.
A lot of layers there.
A lot of layers there. I'll share this story. Growing up when I was trying to sort out pain and suffering and how humans can be so mean to each other, I was anti-competition. I don't understand competition. I don't care who is better and what. And then I started playing tennis. And I realized that I am a very competitive person with my best. Yeah, I'm going to, pick up the weaknesses and the strengths of the opponent.
Sure.
Though if I have this level of skill, then that's my competition.
Yeah.
And so the results are the results. And so it was a real surprise to me how competitive I was.
Yeah.
And why I resisted that for so long.
Yeah.
So that was a huge insight into one layer of me.
Yeah.
Another layer is I recognize as loving, as kind, as authentic I am, I can be very angry. And when I get to that level of anger with someone, then as I calm, then I detach from that person. So a lot of relationships end if I reach that level of anger. That's
Yeah.
another layer that I'm not comfortable with it, though once I'm there, I go with it. And then this is the result. I don't want to go there again. So I detach from that situation, from that person emotionally and mentally. So
Yeah.
those are interesting layers. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I think you've really spoken to the nuance that exists within us of how we can have these, like, I'm an intuitive. I pick up the emotions in the room. I see what's happening. Because I see this and feel so much. I don't understand why people hurt each other. But at the same time, when I'm on the tennis court, I want to win. So how do I hold all of that? And I think it's just knowing how to channel it, how to hold it, understanding the spaces and places where it's effective and healthy and where it transfers over into not being healthy. That understanding of, like, we hear so many narratives as women about anger. And so many of us have stuffed anger for years and not allowed ourselves to feel it, process it, move through it, notice how express it, notice how other people impact us, paying attention to our nervous system when we're in certain people's presence and situations. And so learning how to feel it, move through it, express it, and also recognize when there's a scenario or situation or location or person that continually brings that up in us, and being mindful of, like, that's not a space that's healthy for me to continually put myself in. I need to be mindful and aware of that. That's not, anger's fault. Anger was a clue, and let me know
Yes.
that was an area that I need to be mindful of. So I think, reframing that too is clues.
Yes, and you're exactly right. The context does matter.
Yeah.
And I also like how you became curious about yourself, because it's important for us to know what we like, what we dislike, what our triggers are, what our joys are, what our frustrations are, what our locus of control is. So it is important to be curious about who you are, so you can learn this about yourself and make the best choices available to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, so good. So good. All right. In summary, in living out F.E.E.L, finding empowerment, embracing layers, which you really know how to do. You have learned this, really embody this, and how you show up in the world. Talk to me about how this has affected your let me see if I can spit that out, your relationship with yourself, as well as your relationship with other people.
Again, my relationship with myself is crucial. I am the only person I spend 24/7 with.
Yeah.
As is every other human being, and I insist on liking the person I spend the most time with. So,
it's very important. We underestimate the value of that.
Yes. And I crack myself up sometimes. I could be humorous alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I insist on having a healthy relationship with myself. And the healthier I am within me, then I can bring my best to others.
Yeah.
Who are open to it.
Yeah.
Those people who provide that warm comforter, emotional comforter for me, I can be available to them. I can help them. I can just listen. I can receive from them with appreciation. So connecting with myself in that way only creates better relationships with other people.
Yeah. And I think I want to add to it, it takes the pressure off of relationships being something they were never intended to be. Relationships were never intended to be the thing that makes us happy. Now we can experience joy and contentment and happiness within that. But that comes from us knowing ourselves well, valuing us, loving us, having that relationship with ourselves. So we don't need that relationship's a choice. We don't need that relationship. Well, we need community as humans. So that's a little bit of a different scientific story. But within this context, that relationship is a choice that we surround ourselves with that. And it doesn't put pressure on it to be something it was never intended to be.
Well, and it's not that relationship is my only way of being a whole, healthy human being. No, that relationship I can learn from, as I can learn from a different relationship. My life does not depend on that relationship.
It enhances.
We do need relationship.
Absolutely. Yes. That's a great way of putting that. Thank you so much for that. That was really good. All right. And we're down to the rapid fire. Name 5 activities that nourish you.
Writing. I love to write. I'm much more expressive on paper than I am verbally. I love to laugh. As I said, I crack myself up sometimes. I find humor and joy in some of the smallest things in life, just looking out the window or movie or in conversation. I love tennis and working out. I'll do a variety of cardio type and weight activities. Tennis is the second love of my life. My husband is the first love of my life. Meditation. I meditate every morning, and I think I'm up to 760 consecutive days.
Oh, wow.
In the meditation app. I do it before I get out of bed every morning.
Yeah.
And number 5, I don't have a number 5. I have like 5 more after that.
That's good. That's somebody who has a lot of joy and experiences that nourish them.
Yes. I have a variety that I can tap into at different times and for different reasons. Cooking. I love to cook. I'm not a gourmet cook by any means.
Sure.
Just the process of it is an expression of love for me.
Oh, I love that.
So I love cooking.
Okay. Oh, so good. All right. 5 words on how you want to feel in the next 6 months.
Lighter. I want to feel more buoyant in my body, in my spirit, and socially. The world is heavy for me right now. It's a little scary, a lot of scary. And I feel a huge weight. Yeah. And so I want to feel lighter in the next 6 months.
Yeah. I think that's something a lot of people can connect with right now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. But we got to speak it and say it. And so that we can, be truthful with ourselves about it and do those things we need to do. I found that after the first 3 months of this year, I was just in this hypervigilant state that I could not, the normal things I was doing for myself was not moving me out of it. And so I'm like, I'm going to need more of something right now. And I figured out it was more presence and joy in moments with family and loved ones and spaces that I loved. So my husband and I took a couple of weekends. We went over to the coast and did a whale watching tour with my sister-in-law and her wife. We went down next weekend and visited my brother-in-law and spent some time with he and his family. We're going to the mountains next weekend because that being that close to nature and having that experience together. And so I think that's important. And I was like, okay, those are the things I need in addition to these practices. So I think you hit on something so important. And I want you to get to your other 4 words, but I wanted to sit with that because I think that's a place a lot of us are living right now and really paying attention to that and asking yourself, what are some additional ways I can support myself in this way?
Well, and I'm glad you shared that because you just expressed another layer of yourself, and that's focusing on what you have personal control over.
Yeah.
And one of the things that gets us so out of sorts socially is that we complain about what's wrong and wait for them to fix it. When
Yeah.
we have these individually, we make these choices every day on how we use our energy and our personal resources. And that does contribute to the collective. Now,
Yeah.
is it going to be in a healthy way or in an unhealthy way?
Mhm.
That's to be seen. So what you did was you boiled it down. You're like, oh my God, and then boiled it down to what nourished you. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you. And it took a few months. Like it wasn't like
Mhm.
immediate. Like I
Right.
really had to sit and get curious and keep man, I tried this, not working. Tried this, not working. Not moving the needle here. And I was finally able to like, it just took some time and my husband and I both that first weekend where we tapped into it, we're like, we need more of this. This is the elixir that's gonna support us. And this is something that we can control. That in a world that feels like very out of control in so many ways.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. All right. 4 other words on how you
Oh,
want to
okay. I want to feel a deeper alignment
Mm,
with my body, mind, and my spirit.
mm,
I think there is another part of me
mhm,
that needs to be brought into my existence. And
mm.
so I want to deepen that and just experience that part of me
Yeah.
that is more connected to the source.
Mm, mm. That's really good. All right.
I definitely want to feel more safety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm very comfortable with who I am.
Yeah.
Others are not.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no way to dance around it.
There's no way to dance around that. So
Yeah.
I would love to have the experience of being completely free, me, in any context,
Yeah.
at any time,
Yeah. In any space.
any space. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I want to feel more nourished.
Mm.
I want every cell, every fiber, every organ, every hair just to thrive
Mm.
and just have that nourishment of being not so much full, but
Mhm.
satiated,
Ooh.
satisfied.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good word. I mean, that's that's a really great metaphor for that. Not even metaphor, but I don't know. But yeah, that's a great way to describe that. I love that. Oh my gosh, Glen, so good. I don't know. I lost track of how many words we're on. You want it?
One more.
Go ahead. All right. Oh, goodness.
I actually would love to experience more appreciation.
Mm.
While you and I, we don't really do what we do for accolades.
Yeah.
It would be nice if it were more welcomed.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of bling to it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of glitz and glamour or riches. Yet I would love a deeper level of appreciation
Yeah.
for what we bring to humanity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for people to actually utilize it.
Yeah. I think that you hit on the utilization piece. Like it is hard when you know you have shared something that if people are willing to take hold of it can help them and they won't do it. And they won't do it. And you have to release the fact that you're not responsible for what they choose to do. All you can do is share that. But that can be so frustrating. It can be so frustrating.
It can be frustrating, especially when they come back with the same complaint.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the same story.
Yeah.
Let's rewrite the story. let's
Yeah.
take different actions. So
Yeah.
you hit it on the head. We can't, that's a mental boundary, an emotional boundary, that we can't be attached to the outcome of
Yeah.
sharing what we know and our experiences. Yet it I hope
Mm-hmm.
that people will use it
Yeah.
to live better in
Yeah.
their lives.
Yeah. Just be the healthiest version of yourself that's possible. You know? Yeah. I think if people would be willing to do that, we could see a big shift in the world. I mean, that alone, if we weren't operating from these traumatic, unprocessed places that are so deeply rooted in so many systems and cultures and narratives, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, but it does, and not to simplify it, but it really does come down to each one of us being willing to go on the journey and make the choices that are healthiest for us. And that, fortunately, is harder than it sounds for so many people, but it doesn't have to be. And I think that's where it's like, we've done it. It's okay. You can do it too. I promise. I promise it's worth
works. It is so doable. So
Yeah.
doable.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. So good. Oh, Glen, so good. So good. We could talk forever. So many good nuggets today. So much good wisdom and insight from you. Talk to people about where they can follow you, find you, learn from you, all of that. This will also be on our resources page. Go to embracingtheirs.com. That will all be listed there, but I want to give you an opportunity to share right now as well.
Okay, I appreciate that. You can visit my website, Glen, at glenalex.com. And on there, I have information about my work. And I do offer health and wellness products, my book, Living in Total Health, some other products that I developed to help, you build your emotional and mental toolbox so you are more equipped to successfully navigate through life's challenges. And I am on Facebook. My page is Living in Total Health. I also have a page, Glen Alex. I'm on Instagram, Glen_Alex, and LinkedIn, Glen Alex.
All the places and spaces.
All the places. That is enough to keep up with.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, such a good conversation today. Again, Glen, obviously here on the podcast, check out the panel show she did with me a couple months ago on our YouTube channel. Check out all the resources she has. Follow so much wisdom, so much insight, so much care for us living our healthiest, most authentic lives. So, I'm going to go back to something that Glen pointed out earlier. If you're having a hard time executing those things that nourish you, get to the why this is important, why you should be doing this, and make sure that why is coming from within you, and really define that for yourself. That's your challenge for the week. You're valuable. You are worth it. You deserve to be seen, known, and heard, and to be the healthiest version of you. And both of us are very passionate about you knowing that, and have resources for you here. And we hope you'll partake in those. Glen, thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Oh, so many gems this week. I appreciate you so much. Listeners, we appreciate you too. Take a look at these resources, so many different ways to engage here, and value yourself. Ask yourself why you're doing this. Get to that, what you want out of it, and not the angst in the front of it. I don't want to take out the garbage. If I don't take out the garbage, it's going to pile up and be really stinky. Start there. That can be a metaphor for a lot of things. All right.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Melissa.
You bet. Always, always. You're always welcome here. Take good care.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Glen Alex Show, which is a replay of my interview with Melissa Crook on the F.E.E.L podcast. Hope you learned some things about reframing your should statements, boundaries, and living unapologetically and authentically. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode. Visit glenalex.com to learn more about my work, to order your signed copies of my 5-time award-winning book, Living in Total Health, and the Wellness Through Words anthology, which contains my chapter, Living Well with Boundaries. Then tune into the next episode of The Glen Alex Show. And until next time, be well.